born in Bogota. I was born in Colombia,
yeah.
but I was adopted by Italians when I was 4 months old, so I come across as Italian. But I don't deny either one. I don't deny that I'm Colombian, and I don't deny that I'm Italian, because both played part in who I am.
When I saw that you were born in Colombia, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because, when we had coffee, we were talking, I couldn't tell at all. I don't see any Colombian in you. I see all pure Italian.
Yeah, no, I know. A lot of people say that. But there are, you see a lot of Colombians that are more fair-skinned like myself. And if you know what you do? Google the Colombian soccer team. You may see a couple of guys that I look like over there.
Any desire to be an actor? Like, is that what you wanted to be?
Absolutely not. It's not that I didn't want to do it, but growing up the way I did with, immigrant parents and, just the way they grew up, and they didn't know anything about that. It's not like I was ever pushed in that direction, like, oh, I should be an actor. Like being from immigrant parents, they teach you to go to school, get an education, go to work. That's what that's what the Italians do, right? They go to work. They're hard.
Hard workers.
Very hard workers, but work. So that seemed like a dream. Like, who gets cast in a movie with Robert De Niro? So when I heard about this movie, I had been told since I was a kid that I do look like De Niro. Like, if they ever did a movie, he plays son, you should play son. So I've heard that since I was a kid. But then now the opportunity's here. But I mean, I didn't think growing up in a middle class Italian family from Yonkers that I was gonna get plucked from obscurity. Next thing I'm on.
And with your first big hit, is fucking The Bronx Tale. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So you're at Jones Beach in 1992. You're just swimming in the water, right?
Right.
And then a scout of De Niro's comes up to you and asks you to play what the one fucking guy from Taxi, and you do an impression.
Well, we had just finished playing soccer, and I went in the water to cool off. My brother was calling my name because there was a scout, Marco Greco, because Jones Beach, Section 4, it's all Italians. So he went to the right place. That was a good place to go. And he found me,
yeah.
So, but he was handing out flyers looking for even the young boy, 8 to 9 year old boy, and then a 16 and then the character description. And then when my brother saw it, he's like, oh, hold on, I'll get my brother. He's perfect. So the guy waited. He came and got me. Then he didn't ask me to do Taxi Driver. I just did it because I knew this was my shot. You know what I mean? I had a couple of beers, and I was only 15. That was July 5th, 1992. It was going to be August 30th. I would have been 16. So, yeah, the guy, as soon as he saw me, as I was walking toward him, he's like, wow. He goes, he does look just like him. Wow, he could definitely play his son. So now it's like you got to find out if I can act or not, because you look like him doesn't mean anything. But I did a couple impersonations. The guy loved it, and he said, you should come back tonight. He gave me his information, and I went down to the Belmont Playhouse in the Bronx, right in the actual neighborhood where because we didn't shoot it there. We shot it in Queens, but the auditions were in the Bronx at that level, and then you go to the city, Manhattan. I went in that night, and they had me read the scene when I'm shaving, but in the original script, De Niro was shaving. So I go up to him and I ask him, hey, Dad, and that was the audition scene. I never read anything, acting, I never acted before, never saw anything in screenplay forms. I just looked at it and it just made sense. Interior, night, bathroom, as Calogero, it's just, I knew what to do. It just didn't look foreign. And learned my lines, I memorized them, I told the guy to come back in and we did them. And he was like, wow, that was great. He said, no one's ever read this scene like you. So then I told him my father is Sicilian, and that name Calogero is the saint from the town my father's from. In Agrigento, which is the province, the little town is Naro, Naro. I speak the Sicilian dialect and everything. So that, that's a very rare name. Even because it's not even Italian, it's Sicilian. It's specifically Sicilian.
Yeah.
It's not, and Calogero's Charles. It's the Sicilian way of saying Charles. So now, when we did this movie, everybody was saying Calogero, and they're butchering this name. And I'm like, I grew up hearing this name. I got relatives. I got, I got relatives.
They're Charlie, but you said Calogero.
Yeah. So, but it just seemed like right, like Calogero. I know that. It's just like it seemed like this was waiting for me. Like this was supposed to happen. Started the movie August 31st. That was the day Sonny shot the guy in the street. So I went down with all my friends. I wasn't in the scene. But let me tell you, Astoria, 30th Avenue and 45th Street in Astoria, Queens, August 31st, 1992. The whole neighborhood was out. They had the streets locked up, fake gunshots, and the adrenaline rush just to see De Niro at the helm being, director. I'm like, wow, this is real. When I saw that, cut on the loud, then I'm like, wow, I'm part of this. You're blessed without the experience in how to receive those blessings can be disastrous. You're blessed, you're blessed, but how do I handle being blessed without the experience? When you got the experience, oh, I know, last time I did this happened. I'm going to do this now. But you have no experience, nothing to draw from. So, and as Chaz Palminteri said it best, I made some monumentally bad choices, and I did. I really did. And
Bronx Tale, that was based on like a real story of Chaz?
Well, yeah. Chaz Palminteri, his father was Lorenzo, the bus driver. I know that for a fact because I knew his father. He's a great guy. And he was a bus driver from the Bronx. Chaz is Charles, and it's Calogero. Charles.
So you basically were playing Chaz.
Right.
Okay, in real life.
Right.
Okay.
And yeah, there was really a Sonny Lo Specchio. Was his name. That was, and the whole thing with the bikers in the bar, that was real. Yeah, that was real. You know what that biker gang is called?
No.
They're called the Chingalings. And they're still in the Bronx right now. You Google the Chingalings and they're from Fordham in the Bronx.
Damn.
That really happened. I know a guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but his father was in the bar when that happened.
When it really went down.
Yeah.
And it says, what do we say?
That's the best. That's
Now you can't leave.
Now you can't leave.
Now you just can't.
I
love.
Why am I asking you? I got this fucking guy here right now.
But do you know how bold and how hard that is? Because you got these big, fearsome bikers. And the guy asks you politely, now you got to leave. But then he tells you, now you can't leave. Even if you want to leave, now you can't.
And he goes and locks the door. Being
yeah.
that all this came so fast, that's what led to the drug use. I understand that there was different things that added up.
That could be one reason. I think it was there's so many. It was just like the perfect storm. You're making money.
It sounds like
you got the personality that would gravitate to that life because you're always, and also like Bronx Tale. When I first saw a trailer in the movie theater, I didn't even know that I was going to see that trailer. So now it's like I watched, and when I saw myself on screen for the first time, it was like
I had to fuck you up.
Bro, it was like a high. It was like a high, the best high ever.
Yeah, I bet.
And it felt really good. But it's like, and you want to keep feeling like that, but now you don't, you can't recreate it. So you think drugs is going to bring you that.
I can understand.
It's a diluted feeling of it.
Yeah.
But it's never the same.
I can understand. And it's kind of like, I've never done like any like hard drugs, just weed and drink it. But it's like they say, like when you do crack, you're chasing it. So now you come out of the gate with the Bronx Tale or a Bronx Tale. You know what I mean? I mean, at the time, what's bigger? Nothing.
No, it was big, yeah.
So you come from the gate and now how do you compare to that?
You can't.
That's from, but you're chasing it is what I'm saying.
Right, you're chasing it, right? You peak so early. Like you get actors, they'll do this and then they get to the next level. It's me, I went here. There's no room. You worked with De Niro, one of the best ever, in his directorial debut where he handpicked you. It doesn't really get better. Racial love. Yeah. That's more prevalent now than it was then. Back then it was forbidden. Now it's like it's okay.
It's like an everyday thing.
Yeah, it's normal and as it should be. And I think the movie, because of that, has become more special to people. So I kept getting called back, and then eventually they said, we're going to go meet Bob. I didn't know that was Robert De Niro. So he had his back to me, and when I came in, he turned around, and I saw him. I was like, oh, wow. He basically told me, like, everything that you have been doing up to now, I watched the tapes. He says, you're doing great. Just keep doing that. Keep going in that direction because we want to go there and bring more out. So, I mean, every day I was there doing something. I was, either reading with different combinations of kids who played my friends or the girl, So finally, after all of that, one day De Niro said, tomorrow I want you to dress like you're going to church. Wear a button-down suit, slacks. He said, we're going to have a screen test. So we're going to put you on film. We're going to see how you look. I said, all right. So I came the next day. And we were in the same building. We were on the second floor, not the 7th and 8th floor. It was the De Niro's building, the Tribeca screening room, where they had the screening room. So everybody's in there. They got kids reading for the girl's brother. They got different girls reading for the girl. They got little Calogros, little Crazy Marios, little Slicks. They got everybody running all over the big slick, little slick, That whole room was packed with all the finalists, with every role. So now it's like, so everybody was going all day. But before I go any further, that morning, because up to that point, when I went into audition, like I was there every day for a while, there was nobody there. So I said, I must have this part. They're not telling me officially, but I must have it because there's nobody else. So I was pretty happy about that. But that morning, when I went with my father, rest in peace, and we're sitting there, so I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's the kid who shot Sonny at the end of the movie. Remember Phil? Yeah. He was like 21. I was 16. He was going to be Calogero.
Oh, shit.
So he comes up to me. He's like, yo, what's up, man? He's like, I'm Phil. I'm reading for Calogero, too. So I'm thinking, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Like, this sucker, where did he come from, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, I definitely thought I looked more like De Niro, but like I said, that don't mean shit. Because he could look, if he's a better actor, they're going to give it. So now I'm thinking to myself, this guy's a problem. He made it this far for a reason. They must have auditioned thousands of kids from New York. If this is the last of all those kids and this is what they came up, he's got to be good. He's still my very good friend to this day.
That's cool.
Yeah, Phil came to see me when I was away. Thanksgiving he came to see me.
Yeah, that's a real friend.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
You know that.
Best. I love that guy. And so now I'm like, holy. And now everything changed. Now I was like, I was nervous, but I'm thinking I got this part. Let me just do what I've been doing. Let me just not fuck it up. Let me do it, keep it the way it was, and I'll get it.
And you're what, 15, 16?
I was 15.
Because the movie came out, what, 93?
Yeah, I was 15. I was still 15.
Man, that's a lot at 15.
Yeah, but I was going to be 16. It was like my last few weeks of being 15.
Yeah.
So they auditioned everybody else. Now it's just me versus him. Okay? So we literally went shot for shot. He goes into a scene. I go in, back, forth, back. So now it comes to the scene where Sonny smacks us. Where did you go with my car? When he said, thought you put something under the engine. So he went first, and me and my father standing outside the room because they got everything set up in it. But you would think it's a movie set. They got lights, focus pullers, grips, like it's a real film.
Real setup, like everything's really happening.
Yeah. Cameras are rolling, So he goes in, they do the scene, they close the door. Chaz was smacking him so hard.
He was hitting the phone.
Oh yeah. He was smacking, and I could hear the kid and he's like really, and then you could hear. And me and my father looked at me like really concerned. Like, this is not funny.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing a movie. I understand we love De Niro and,
But you're getting a slap, like a slap.
What they set you up, like, beating this kid up.
You do that now, you get a 20-piece.
Yeah. So now, he comes out, his hair's all disheveled, his disheveled, his shirt's ripped. So he told me, he said, good luck or something like that. And then I went in. And then I did the same thing, and I was waiting for them. Waiting for them.
So now you don't flinch, I bet, right?
Yeah, but you know what? They never hit me once.
Really?
They never hit me once. So I'm thinking to myself, what the
fuck?
Right? Well, long story short, I didn't get to the bottom of it right then and there, but after, got the part and all that, I said to De Niro, I said, hey, remember that time when we did that, that scene? Yeah, and you guys beat Phil up. I said, I was waiting to, the same thing happened to me. So why didn't you guys hit me? He said, we didn't have to. You bought the energy that we needed. So it was there. We didn't have to
We didn't have to give you the adrenaline rush to get going.
And I'm not saying that to, in any way, shape, or form take away from my friend Phil.
Of course not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because he's my boy
and he went first too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was like the ultimate compliment from Robert De Niro saying, your acting was good. Like we didn't need to do
young.
that.
So now, you're Bronx Tale, Renaissance Man, Crimson Tide. How is your mind right now? All this is hitting you at once. You're working with fucking Denzel Washington, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, my mind was like, I want to be a kid. Like, I want to go out with my friends. And this is cool and everything, but I still want to go to my prom and, do that, which I missed out on. And I grew up too fast. And everyone would think from the outside looking in, like, oh my God, look at, he's doing great. And I'm like, I wish I was in his shoes. But, you still want to do the things that are age appropriate, and I wasn't going to school. It kind of took me someplace where I don't know if I was ready to be yet.
Right. So when you're, because you're 15 to 17 doing these three particular movies, right? So in that time period, what are they? You're basically getting homeschooled or tutored or
Yeah, it was called on-location education. But by Crimson Tide, I was already over 18, so I didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But until you're 18, you have to.
You have to by
So
law,
Bronx
right?
Tale, I did it, and Renaissance Man too.
Okay, so now when you're doing that, you can't have a steady girlfriend, right? Because you're moving around. You can't go. You like you said, you can't be a kid. So when you're going to do these movies, are you like torn between the two, or are you just focused on career?
You know, I don't even know what I was focused on because there was so many things happening. You know what I mean? This is when I first started smoking pot. First time was on the set of A Bronx Tale. I still want to go out with my friends. So I really wasn't focused on, I was focused on being a kid and having fun. As far as the movie career, it happened so fast and so easy that I thought it would always be there. So I kind of just like took it for granted and like, if you know, but that's not the way it works. You got to keep striking the iron when it's hot.
So you kind of got content,
Right.
Right.
And complacent.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, yes.
And I kind of like squandered it. You know, you get scripts that they're sending me that they're very interested in having me in the film. Nah, I'm going to pass. I read it. I didn't like it. You read it. You didn't like it. This is $100 million movie. Oh, these are the biggest producers in the world. What are you, nuts?
What was a couple that you turned down that you wish you could go back and
Well,
maybe not wish you could go back because like we were talking earlier, everything that happens in life paves the way and is meant to be. But what's a couple that you could have had that?
well, I had a very good shot at, I was supposed to meet Steven Spielberg for Saving Private Ryan.
Ooh.
And I was out the night before. I was out doing drugs and drinking, and the audition was like at 10:30 in the morning, and I was still like, wired up from the night before. And I turned it down. I said, I'm going to pass. Steven Spielberg must have been like, what's wrong with this guy?
Well, what is this guy fucking crazy?
Yeah, like I told him, let's reschedule for Monday. And my manager's like, he's leaving, going back to L.A., dude. It's today or not, never. And, yeah.
What was your manager like? What the fuck? I like. Do you understand, Lillo? This is Steven Spielberg here. This
get
could
in
take
the-
you to the next.
Right,
you
yeah,
know?
exactly. And, you get people killed to be in the room with someone like that. And you're,
You're asking him to reschedule for you.
yeah. I'll see you when I see you, Steve.
Oh, you started with weed. Is that what?
yeah,
how
on
it
the set of
started?
The Bronx Tale with Phil, the kid who shot Sonny.
Yeah.
Innocently enough, he had some in the car. We smoked, and I didn't get high. I thought I did, and then we smoked again on the set. And then I got bombed. And I did the scene, is it better to be loved or feared? And,
Did Chaz and De Niro know that you were high,
they may have suspected something.
but they didn't say nothing to you?
No.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know that I was doing, you know what I mean? That was my first time, so
And at that point, you're just doing weed
that's it.
Right.
And liquor.
and liquor.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you do Renaissance, Crimson Tide. Are you still just on the weed, or you've
No, by then, I started with some hallucinogens, some mushrooms, and then some ecstasy, cocaine. Ecstasy was huge in the 90s, especially all like the Peter Gatien clubs, the Limelight, the Palladium, USA, and I was part of that, that whole world and that era. But, yeah, and it just got worse and worse. And then I started with the cocaine on the weekends, and it started in the weed during the week. And I'm still working, you know what I mean? And then in 99, I read for The Sopranos. I didn't get the part, but then, 98 I read. I didn't get the part as Christopher's friend, Brendan Fallone. But the show they didn't know it was going to be that big. So they said, if we get picked up, we'll bring you in. And then they brought me in for that character.
Yeah.
And I got that role. But by then I was snorting heroin, because I injured my head. I jumped out of a car one night, paranoid from the cocaine, thinking my friends were going to kill me. So I jumped out, doing 60 miles an hour. And then when my head messed my head up, then I had to start taking pain pills. The doctor prescribed them. I didn't know they were just like heroin. And then before you know it, I was hooked on them. I had a girlfriend, from 2000, 2002. She broke up with me. I was really bad with the drugs. And then and then I met another girl, and she broke up with me also because of the drugs. But with the second girl, her name was Stephanie, I befriended her dad because she didn't want to be with me. And by this time I'm a full-blown crackhead, full-blown heroin addict. I wasn't shooting intravenously, I was snorting. So I became friends with her dad, for a reason to go by the house without her calling the cops. So, her dad and I, we became friendly, and we would do heroin together, never to go out. And then on December 10th, 2005, we decided to get together at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We got some crack first, and went to a strip club, wanted to get more drugs, and went to someone who's my friend. And went there, he didn't answer, we broke a window, and then I had no idea. And when people, how did you not know? The DA would have put 15 witnesses on the stand if she said, yeah, we knew Lillo. He always hung out with people with guns. That was not my MO. This is why she couldn't prove it. If it was that true and you knew, you could have proved it. Because everybody thinks, oh, yeah, you just got off because you're an actor. That's bullshit.
I would think the opposite.
The reason why I got off is because I was not guilty, regardless of people. That part of the crime, that element of the crime, the whole case was hinging on whether or not I knew about the gun. I had knowledge of the gun. But that element of the crime need not be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, only by a preponderance of the evidence, which is the weight of the more reliable evidence. So all you had to prove that was 51%. And you still couldn't do it because I did not know. The burden of proof is so low. If you still can't prove it, it means that it did not happen. I know it's a cop and everybody thinks that, because, and I'm not saying nothing about law enforcement. A person's a person. A human life is a human life. Whether it's a cop or not a cop, whatever it is. But, listen, I take full responsibility how my drug addiction, my bad decision making did make a contribution in the death. But, with that being said, I was not armed that night. I didn't even have a gun. But we went there to get drugs. There was a lot of noise. Off-duty police officer came out. And he lived in the little kid from Bronx Tale, the house where he lived. That's how I knew the guy next door.
Really?
I used to do laundry with his sister, Chanel, who was my first love in the basement.
Jesus.
Imagine that. And then this cop, Daniel Enchautegi, he lives there, and he hears, all this noise. So he comes out. I'm walking away, and he says, don't move. And I move, and boom, boom, started shooting. And then a gunfight ensued between them two, but I was already gone because I didn't know who he was. And I got blood squirting through my fingers. I went back to the car, and I heard more gunshots. I didn't know Steve had a gun. So I didn't, it was like, just the way it happened, it was so surreal. Someone says, don't move, you turn around, and I had blood squirting everywhere. It looked like a movie.
Decided to take it to trial. Are you actively using during the trial?
No.
Like you're done with drugs at this point?
Yeah. In 2006, I was still getting high. I was going to church and getting morphine at church. I was getting heroin from a guy in the next block. November 12, 2006, I overdosed in my cell.
In jail?
Yeah, and they taped off my crime. They taped off my cell as a crime scene. They had detectives come to try.
You were getting heroin in Rikers Island?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then it was like a big investigation. Where's this guy getting all the drugs? And I never told. I went to the box. November 18th, 2006 was the last time I got high. And I didn't go to trial till 2008. So by then I was very clean, very focused. I learned the law and everything in it that pertained to me and my case. And, I had Joe Tacopina as my attorney. Good family and friends and a lot of love. A lot of people supported me. And we beat all the biggest charges. And, thank God for that. But,
yeah.
Someone lost their life, though. So I never want to minimize that.
No, you're not downplaying. You're just, you're being factual is what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you overdosed in jail. Wow. That must have been fun.
Yeah.
What, just bad shit or just too much?
Too much. Too much. 20 morphine pills, and then I sniffed 4 bags of dope.
Do you think you did that much kind of like purposely in a way, maybe because of the situation?
No, it was because my tolerance.
Yeah,
because I did the 20 morphine pills, and I felt like I could have got higher, and I went to sniff the 4 bags, and I was fucking out.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And then they take you to the hospital, handcuffed to the bed, I'm sure.
Yeah. First they brought me to the infirmary within the place, and then they brought me to an outside hospital.
I'm sure the media loved that, huh?
Yeah. But you know what? It wasn't such a bad thing because it just reaffirmed the fact that I'm a drug addict. I'm not a killer. And even in jail with everything going on, I'm still doing drugs. So we see what the problem is.
Right.
I'm not beating people up and getting violent.
You're doing drugs.
drugs.
You have an Apple device and you open, like say you swipe it out and close it and you reopen it and sign into Facebook.
Right.
It will pop up and say, allow this app to track you, ask this app not to track you. And when you put not to track you, it masks your IP address.
Right.
So now they can't.
Right.
And Facebook went fucking crazy.
So now what they do? They had to pay to get back. It's got to be a way around it.
Well, they're
There's gotta be
probably
a way around it.
Well, right now they don't have it, but they'll figure it
Well,
out.
they're coming in someplace else.
Yeah,
'Cause I
yeah.
know they are because they're still listening to me.
But did you hit the right button or did you
I
hit
don't
the wrong?
remember.
What do you think? If I'm a betting man, he hit the wrong fucking button. What do you think?
They're fucking right. You know,
That's
I
Mike's
was
brother.
probably driving when I did it.
Yeah, I can believe
God
that.
damn it! I can't hit the. I only have my thumb then, so what am I gonna do?
Now you had said something about the Clintons got to the governor or something. You had said I couldn't understand your fucking lingo. Were you voice texting this shit?
Probably, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So the R's don't come out properly, and whatever else. God,
I was just trying to put it together.
Yeah, no. The funny thing is the Virginia election. They're really struggling down there. The Dems are struggling with this Virginia election, and it's all based around. I could say the county wrong, but I'll try. Loudoun County, which is a fairly heavily democratically run area. The school board's going. The parents have made such an issue at the school board that now the Republican candidate for governor, and I don't know his name, he's an Irish guy or something, like a Murphy. No, not Murphy. He's in Jersey. Is he in Jersey or something? Anyway, the guy running for governor down there in Virginia as a Republican candidate, opposed to the Democratic candidate. I think he did blackface, so he's okay, because he's a Democrat. They caught him in blackface, so that's fine. But the Republican guy is now using the school board juxtapositioning to his advantage, and they feel, I feel, how's that? That the Republicans are going to win that governorship back, and the guy that's backing Clinton's backing the Democratic
the other
candidate,
yeah.
but they're close personal friends, and I think he had maybe an island. I'm going out on the limb here with this. Had an island issue with EpiPen. At the EpiPen island.
You think he's dead?
Huh?
You think he's dead?
Yeah, I know he's dead.
I asked Caden.
Yeah.
Caden, the guy who solved the Tupac Biggie case.
Okay,
Great Caden.
I know of him.
Dude, he's a stand-up guy, man.
Yeah.
He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
Like real, if you're gonna get arrested,
Right.
he's the one you want to come.
All right.
Because he respects you.
Right.
He's just
He's
there.
doing his job.
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
Right. He's one of those guys probably like you were, when you weren't stealing the coke.
Yeah. No, that was nothing personal.
Yeah. But
That
when
was
you
a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
was a
saying
deal.
I'm saying take away the house calls that you made sure you got those just to see if there was some coke there.
Different.
Right. But I mean when you go to restaurant on an actual arrest,
Right.
you're just doing your 9 to 9, right?
I have nothing personal. Just don't be rude to me, and you and I'll be best friends at the end of this.
And I believe that's how he was, and that's how he was able to solve the 2 huge cases that nobody could
I
solve.
had heard about that recently, but I wasn't up on it. But I was aware that there was I was aware that this was going on. I just remember,
Yeah,
I got you calling me. I got Johnny calling me.
Yeah. So the last one we went through all the 7-5, everything that happened with that.
Right.
When you were working there, the funniest thing was when you were saying, and I tell people the story that come in when because you were there for the crack epidemic when it first came,
Right.
and you and your partner were throwing these rocks away.
Yeah.
And then one day he comes back in and he goes, Mike, I got 500 hours for this shit.
Yeah.
And you go, then why the fuck are we throwing it away the whole time? I mean, to me, that's the funniest shit, right?
Yeah, I was sad. It was sad.
Yeah. and then you're like,
fucking through thousands of dollars of shit worth. I mean, for God's sake, somebody wanted it.
and then you're like, so what? Got a cup of coke from a drug dealer, blew some off some pussy. What do you want me to do?
It happens. Isn't that what that was? The 80s.
Yeah,
that was the life in the 80s.
And they weren't real tough on it then, were they?
Oh, on cocaine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was tough. It was a tough hit. I mean, the feds weren't really deep involved yet because they were basically shipping it. So, yeah, so they were.
When you say basically shipping it, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, it was wasn't the Oliver North story when the Contras were trading drugs and guns, and we were shipping the cocaine in to pay for the whole hookup there. Yeah, it's that type of thing. I don't like to get deep into because I don't follow them. I just hear about them and I know.
Yeah.
So I don't get into the letters and the X's and the dots and the Y's and the O's. But yeah. Well, we were shipping it in. I mean, I told you the story the last time I was in prison with Bill Clinton's cousin, Bobby Joe Blythe.
Yeah,
just refresh me. He was the pilot that was flying his shit into Arkansas, Clinton's airport. You know, he built it for the cocaine distribution.
And do you think Clinton knew that? Like 100%?
I don't want to get whacked like all Hillary's fucking friends, but yeah.
So the answer would be yeah.
Well, Bill was known for his dipping and bipping and bumping and.
Do you think he was a part of that when they were taking them flights?
Over the Epstein Island?
Yeah.
I guess.
Do you believe all that shit? Like, I mean, the shit that they said that they were doing, like jacking them to get the adrenaline out of them and everything. Do you really think they did that?
I don't know. I don't know all that. All right. I don't get into the woods with these stories because my life is so fucking busy as it is.
You're in enough shit.
I don't get too deep into their problem. All I do is go, oh no, they're fucked. You know.
Yeah.
But they don't get fucked.
Never.
Not in the right. You have the right color something, and you don't. And I don't mean white and black.
No.
You don't get it. You just. So I'm on the phone. Okay. About 2 years ago with a guy, a year and a half, 2 years. And his last name, I don't give a Mowgli, I think is his, and he's connected with people, sort of. He just got, I think, one of the wise guys in New York, one of the last ones, one of the real last ones up there, young kid, got brought in for.
What did he do?
Wait, so the story is they're calling me from their island. Like they're on some island and they're standing on their porch and they have their binoculars on and the feds are on Epstein Island. They're giving me blow by blow description from their island that they're on, right? About 3 months later, I call the guy up. He goes, "Yeah, things didn't work out too good for us either." I go, "What?" He goes, "One's in and one's out." They picked up. Maybe they were listening. Who the fuck knows? I better watch it. I better watch myself. No, but they picked up the guys for what a scam. I mean, I gotta lay the scam out.
Yeah.
So they not Epstein's people. These are the other wise guys, whatever they are. You know.
Yeah.
Everybody's a wise guy. So thinks they are. So he they had the if you won the lottery in New York, you picked somebody to help you manage your money. These guys were taking their money,
taking them right to the
taking
cleaners.
their fucking money, like to the tune of $200 to $300 million.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah.
That was interesting, huh?
That's some big. They were going to buy my life rights. They were offering to buy my life rights to take me away from. At the time, I was with Sony.
Yeah.
And my deal with Sony was about to expire, so we were sitting down. We were at a nice steakhouse, Bryant and Cooper, up in New York. Nice place, and was it not Bryant and Cooper? I think it was. Anyway, and one of them, and so we're sitting there discussing. They want to give me a couple $100,000 to own my life rights, which is nice money to own life rights, you know, because usually they give you some, like I've been getting paper money here and there, you know, just like chump change to keep you from one year to the next, you know. But they were talking about a couple $100,000 in my hand, and then they wanted to go back to Sony and negotiate with Sony. But they probably had inside tracks on these things. So I don't know. All I know is I might have had a little problem had I taken their funds. It would have been funds from the fucking.
God knows what.
From the lottery spoils. So yeah, fortunately, I declined.
The one smart thing maybe you did.
I don't know.
Not that I'm any smarter, believe me. I think all of us in this room. I don't know Tim, but we all fuck up.
So let me just say, didn't think I was being smart by declining it. I don't think I could get out of my contract. Otherwise, I would have taken the money and wherever that led, you know. So
I would have too.
I would have.
I would have said fuck it.
I
would have rolled the dice.
I'm not gonna say no to couple $100,000.
Yeah, you give me $500,000. Fuck it.
Come on, man.
Fuck it. At least
I'm guilty.
At least you get whacked with $500,000.
You're
right?
on. I did it.
But depending on who it was from,
yeah, but
right, you wouldn't have gotten any hit.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I didn't know. I mean,
your life rights. So I don't know if I give that away.
Well, I'm trying to get them back right now, so that's another subject matter that we're working on. But
are you allowed to talk about that or no? You probably should.
It doesn't matter. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
We're going to do the story about Kenny instead of me now.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about immigration. I want your opinion on immigration now, them letting everybody in, which is obviously a spike in you know what.
Yeah, and spike in everything.
Yeah.
I mean, spike in, you name it, homelessness, disease. I mean, I think polio might be coming back with these people.
Really?
I don't know about polio.
But diseases.
But diseases, yeah. There's a couple of measles things. I think the people from Afghanistan are bringing measles, was what I heard. Which is unfortunate, but hey, they're affecting us. Like they're releasing bombs on us again in a different way, right? Very interesting. It's pretty well known because he went to Philly. The dog was held in Philly. New York City shipped the dog to Philadelphia.
You know what you did? You know what you did, Mike? You texted it to me. That's what you did.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is good because you're trying to make something out of this. So
Yeah.
summarize the situation. I know it, but I want to hear it from
okay.
you.
So, yeah. So
Give you a little plug.
okay. So
The nice guy.
I think. So I'm meeting with Steve Stanislaus, who's got his own little film production company in New York, and he was the NYPD male stripper.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, back in the late 80s, early 90s, whatever it was. yeah. So he was like one of those guys that got a lot of attention. He was a good-looking guy. And he ends up with a 3/4 disability pension. Okay, maybe he broke his dick. I don't know. But anyway, but he's a nice guy, so I'm kidding. But so he
At least you gave him that.
yeah, he palled around with Madonna and that crew, so we got into film fairly young, right after the job, because he was bodyguarding and then stripping, whatever. So he had a little showmanship. So now he's involved with a production company. He did the Lillo Brancato documentary, Wasted Talent.
Lillo's coming in next week.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's cool as fuck,
Fuck
man.
him. Tell him fuck you.
He's got 2 killer movies coming out.
Yeah, I know he's doing good. I love him. Yeah, we're like this.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lillo?
Too bad you're not here when he comes in.
Oh my God.
He's coming in.
I'll be here. I'll be
He
here.
flies in. I'll look when we get off.
I'll be here.
It's either he flies in Wednesday, shoot Thursday,
Yeah.
leave Friday.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah, you should,
I will
man.
be
That'd be
here.
great, man.
I will be here.
Yeah, I've talked to him many times before. You know, going back and forth. He's really a cool fucking.
Yeah, so
dude.
he did his documentary and sort of helped Lillo get back in a little bit, you know, but that wasn't his real intent. Well, maybe it was his intentions too, Steve, because Steve was trying to help him a little bit. He knew. So the story with Lillo, I won't tell it because your viewers will hear it. But so I'm there to meet this guy and discuss with him the potential of 2 people. I got these 4 cops from New York City that were 3 cops that were arrested in the New York City pistol licensing division because they were selling licenses to celebrities. So it became a big scandal, and it goes all the way up to de Blasio's office and beyond. Okay, so they're all involved in it, and these cops, of course, are the fall guy. So de Blasio's people sends people in to get their guns because de Blasio's my daddy. I'm just, I'm not saying that's.
His name isn't even Blasio.
Yeah, of course, yeah, Carmine, whatever.
William
Hepfield.
Hepfield. Remember we looked him up and fucking buried him?
Name is crazy. Anyway, I don't want to make fun of him, but yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. So, the funny story is that these guys are being told to issue licenses to these people. It's being told. So favors and patronage is taking place in the licensing division to get a gun. One guy ends up killing his whole family with the gun that they gave to him. Anyway, so they want to do a documentary and expose all of it, all of the corruption. So I'm meeting with Steve and another guy that you know, Larry.
Mazza.
Yeah. So he's involved with a film company. So I'm working with whoever steps up to the plate first is going to get the package. Okay. So Charlie with the dog, the NYPD pit bull dog, that story is incredible. His dad was a wise guy back in the day. He shot a cop, and the cop was on the take. It was what a story. It's
fucking
insane.
disaster.
It's insane.
You got to get him.
And he didn't even know it. Charlie didn't know when he found the newspaper article. He said, "No wonder why my father."
You should come in here with him.
He said, "No wonder why my father never told me what he did." And he ran the brick company that built Starrett City, one of the largest single standing developments in New York City, Starrett City. His father, they opened up a cement plant down the block so they would get the bid. And they got the bid.
Gee, I wonder how that happened.
That happened. So they got the bid. Anyway, so he grew up coming back and forth from Long Island to East New York. He ends up being best friends with one of the guys that was paying me.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so we don't know this until he meets me through the 7-5 story.
Yeah.
He goes, "Gordo and Eddie?" I go, "Yeah, on Logan Street, right down from Eugene's Bodega." He goes, "I used to sleep at their house." I said, "I used to rob them." No, and then stopped.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of commonality between us, and he knew Walter from the 7-5 doc. He said, "Walter took my newspaper from me one day because I was hiding my bundles in it." I go, "Yeah, Walter probably stole the bundles." He goes, "He did." I said, "That's Walter." So yeah. So it's just a big circle. So I'm bringing them in so that maybe to see if we can do something with their stories, because they're really incredible stories. See, there's a lot of people with great stories, but no one really gives a fuck. They want to write stories about fake cars and fake puppies talking to fake people, No, there's no real story. We're losing real storytelling in the movie cinema.
You're right.
The number one story is about some some guy with a star on his chest that's nobody. He's just a fictitious person. Captain America, Captain Loser. But there's no personality driven in who can play a great actor. You don't need to be an actor today. You can't. You don't need to take on someone's personality. Just be Captain America, or
You can make a gazillion.
yeah. What's the big
Marvel
character?
I don't like one of those movies.
I never watched one.
I'm not into the fucking bullshit.
I mean,
I'm just
what's the story?
I'm just not into it.
What's the story?
Maybe maybe when I was
made
8.
up a story. How about people's stories?
The last movie that I think I saw that I can remember, I didn't like The Irishman. It was too long and boring. I was really disappointed.
Larry was in that. A lot of guys were in that movie.
Heavy hitters were in.
Yeah, a lot of guys were in that movie. Yeah,
I didn't
and
like
they did
it.
a lot of digital fudging.
Yeah, they fudged it a lot.
Because I didn't see it. Just so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't see the fucking. But I saw a lot of
Right.
production processes in it, and a lot of my friends, guys that were in the movie. Yeah.
I had a guy in that was in the movie.
Yeah,
I can't say his name because he's got to get approval because of possible, what the fuck is that called when you have a deal with somebody and then you come on here and you talk about it, like a breach of contract.
Yeah, you can't. Right. That's why
So-
Larry's been careful lately too.
Yeah, so I did the interview with him 2.5 hours, and then he left, he flew back, and then he called me the next day. He goes, "Look, I'm really sorry, but can you just hold on to this for a while, because there's a little bit of a conflict of interest or whatever, contract conflict, the ink bullshit."
Someone might say something and cause him a problem.
Right. So he's like, "Look, would you mind holding on to it for like 6 months, 8 months, and then pop it out?" I said, "Yeah, I'm not a dirty
Right,
dude.
right. You're not gonna fuck
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna fuck him."
Yeah.
But yeah, he was telling me that because they tried to make him look younger.
Okay.
So
they did
they did a lot of that digital shit that they look like you and me, but the computer
It makes me pretty.
like a selfie
It makes me
type
like
shit.
I used to look.
But a selfie type thing that cost $1 gazillion on
Right,
film,
right.
and then you have Scorsese writing the fucking pictures, so
Right.
that budget was huge.
Right.
You got Dickhead De Niro in
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
and Pesci, he's cool as fuck.
Yeah, fish. Yeah.
De Niro, okay, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But
He's got a pistol license too.
does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
From
sure
these
he
guys, from
does.
the guys.
But yeah, the whole
From
fight,
those guys.
whole fight
From
to
those
death.
guys.
Yeah, motherfucker.
He got it back. He lost it and got it back.
Fuck.
He lost it and got it back. That don't happen.
Don't get me started on De Niro.
Yeah, he lost it and got it back. That don't happen. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. And he may have to play me. No, not him. Please.
No.
Whatever.
But
But some guys like him though. Some guys like him. I don't know who, but some.
I know people that don't know him like him.
Right, exactly.
But like Stuttering John, he was in.
Yeah.
Jay was like, this guy's an asshole.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
remember, Stuttering
And
John worked
he
for
don't like
Leno.
Trump. And he don't like Trump.
And he fucking hates Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it wasn't about that then.
Yeah, it wasn't about that. Yeah. Leno didn't like him.
Yeah.
John didn't like when he was working with Leno. He's just a dick.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
fucking dick.
yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
The last real, based on a true story, I think was the Boston one with Johnny Depp. Who was the guy who got whacked in Coleman? Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
Black Mass.
Black
That
Mass.
was probably the last movie that came out that was based on a true story.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I would say so. I get a phone call because from a stranger.
Yeah.
Because they call you on all these different apps and shit now. You don't know how to block. I don't know how to block them. The phone's ringing. Who's this? I think it's probation. I don't know who it fucking is.
When it's blocked right away, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, I blocked. I said, fuck, I better answer it. Because if I don't answer it, they're going to get mad. So I answer the phone, and it's some guy saying, I just want to thank you for a wonderful weekend. So I go, what? He goes, I watched Black Mask, and then I found the 7.5. It rescued me from Black Mask, is what he fucking said to me. I said, really?
I thought Black Mass was really
Just
good.
telling you what he said.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
hey,
I didn't see Black Mask, so I don't know.
It was good. 7.5 was really good, too.
Yeah. He said, you rescued me from the Black Mask, and I had a little, as far as Whitey, I met a few of his people in Devens, Massachusetts when I was up there.
Yeah, he got set the fuck up.
Yeah.
Knowing.
Yeah, he was working for them too. They're all fucking double dipping, bro.
They're
They're double dipping. What was Scarpa was the guy Larry was involved with?
Scarfo?
Scarfo. Yeah, he was that Scarfo? Because there's Scarpo and Scarfo. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Larry's guy with the Columbos up in New York.
No.
I understand he was working too. I mean, that's what I heard.
I don't know.
I might have the wrong name because the Scarfo
Yeah,
thing gets me
Scarfo's
confused.
Jersey,
Right.
and then the Scarpo, I've
Yeah.
never even heard of him, so I don't know. 95, you're with Charlie Carneglia, right?
Yeah.
Just my bad. Okay. And now, When do you get the hit to take out Junior?
About that time, they give me guns about 95. And again, actually, when I get out, they try to re-insinuate. They try to redo the hit. They're asking me to hit him again. So they asked me a couple times, but the problem is when they gave me the guns, not the problem. And they called the hit off, when they came through, initially through Charles. When they call the hit off, I won't give the guns back. So people know, like, I really don't even care for that part. It doesn't matter to me what any of these people believe or disbelieve. It doesn't matter. It really is not important to me, any of this. But the facts of what happened, Charles is staying with us, just like I said. We did a couple of robberies at the time. He said this and that. He said his brother wanted it done. Whether that's true or not, when I talked to Johnny on the phone, maybe it didn't have anything to do with it. It was just Charles. I don't know. I just know that when I get on the phone, they go, yeah, you're going to take care of that, or whatever he said. I assumed it was what he told me it was. Charles told me it was. So, but did he give me the guns? Of course he did. And guys from my neighborhood own a tattoo shop. I put the guns there, and I refused to give them back. And I told everybody, don't give them back until I'm back in jail. I says, nobody gives those guns back. So we didn't give the guns back, and Charles was panicking because he said he's going to know we were trying to hit him. And I'm like, listen, it doesn't matter to me. This was just what I was asked and told to do, and that was my job, and this is what I did. And, he can take it personal or not. They talk about hitting me, too. That's the life with all of us, and it's part of the treachery, and
it went both ways.
I mean, I'm so sick of this with all these dumb people on the street that, never did anything, and they talk like this, because they'll say, oh, he's full of shit, and they'll challenge me, but you guys all know I've done this through names. I didn't just say, pick up, yeah, this happened over there and nobody knows about it.
But do you think you really whacked?
Here's...
I understand in a situation.
I'm going to tell you exactly.
Like you said, it's not like you got a fucking ticker and you're waiting for their heart.
I know for sure. Yeah, because I know people want to say exaggerate. For 100% sure.
Yeah.
I shot over 30 people.
Yeah.
That's 100% sure. And I can name probably most of them sitting here with you, like I do on a lot of shows, by first and last name, not just by a first name.
You remember everyone?
Oh, yeah, I remember everybody's names. So, it's not like I can't say their names. And I've done it. And if you want me to say a couple, I'll say a couple. I mean, it's not like a big deal for me when people say, oh, he only killed one, and then they say, oh, he only killed 10, and then they call me a serial killer. I don't care which one it is. Can they pick the subject? Is it, I'm not that dangerous, or I am dangerous?
Yeah.
Did I shoot a lot of people? I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I do this all the time. And I says, well, if I didn't shoot Mike Lavigny in the chest, right, and say, yes, I did, why did he testify against me? If I didn't shoot Ricky Stratton in the head on the Interborough Parkway, why did I get charged with it? If I didn't shoot Georgie Grasso in the head and kill him, why did I get charged with that murder? If I wasn't involved in Louis DeBono conspiracy to kill him, why did I get charged with the conspiracy to kill Louis DeBono? If I didn't try to hit Vito Guzzo with Johnny Borelli.
You tried to hit Vito Guzzo?
Yeah, we hit him, but he lived and he killed my guy. So if I'm not, why would I say I'm involved in it, and why do guys testify and give information I was? And more important, why does captains like Ronnie One-Arm Trucchio say 14 times in his own voice, me and John Gotti Jr. are partners in the drug business if we're not? Why did he say that? Why did he also say, I got to be nice to Johnny A-Light, because if I'm not, he'll kill me like everybody else. I'm just a captain in the Gambino family, but I'm not violent. He is. So he's a captain. John Gotti Jr.'s right-hand man, Mickie Scars, captain, made all kinds of statements against me in 302 that I'm around during all the jury tampering for Gotti Sr., for Jeannie Gotti, for Johnny Koenig. And if I'm not that guy, why am I living in jail with Jeannie Gotti? Why is he my son? Was all over everything. Oh, he hit his ex-wife, what she calls me, A-Rat, hit his ex-wife. And I laugh. And I said to her, you better read what I said. I already said I hit my ex-wife. I never said I didn't. I said it, and I said you shouldn't. And I got involved in advocating against hitting any woman and violence. So I didn't say, oh, I didn't do it. I said I actually did. And then she started saying, well, he has a second family. Now, this is a girl whose own father called her a rat for calling the police. And he said, you're worse than Sammy Gravano. Okay. So he did that. And her ex-husband, he just passed away, and condolences for him. And I don't have no hate for some, especially passed away. I don't want to see that. But he had a second family outside of her. So you're cursing me out for the same thing your family has.
You're making fun of me for the same exact thing. And then you called the police and your own father called you a rat. I really don't care who you called on your husband or not. But stop these childish games. When's it going to stop? You can't be happy to be doing this kind of stuff. So what's your end game for her too? You didn't have to break bread and sit down and talk gangster talk with your father. So your ex-husband had a second family, and I'm sorry you're miserable about it and you're angry. Don't blame you. I'm sorry I did the same thing. But we did it. I don't say I did it and they didn't do it. And I say, no, we all did it. We all lived a shitty life. But at least I'm eating it and I'm okay with it and honest with it. They're trying so hard not to be honest with, you can't change the words that came out of your father's mouth. He calls you a rat. People talking about being, gangsters and mobsters. No, Johnny's a gangster, and unfortunately, he's a junkie. And if anybody's stupid enough to straighten him out, that's on them. So, that goes back to, when I talk about, why the mobs change, because you don't have fear and you don't have structure. So how you going to have structure when you got this guy who's just like a crackhead on the street that you made him, and he's a loose cannon because he's doing crazy things. I says, and then you want to drag Kevin down with him because he's penniless. He screws up every dollar for Johnny when he's in jail. And this is the truth. And unfortunately, Johnny must not be too happy, obviously, where I stand today. But he knows what the truth is, at least. He knows what I'm saying. He might love his brother, but he's got to be shaking his head. If you're going to be honest, go, yeah, you're right. This is what it is. So, unfortunately, I would never think that we were all going to be in this position. We all thought we would die in jail or die in the street and stay loyal to each other. But that's a fantasy world, because that's not really the world of the treacherous mob. And the way I look at things now, I'm glad it happened this way, because I'm okay with my life. And anybody else that's writing like that, I guess they're not okay with that. Gotti was all over everything. Oh, he hit his ex-wife, what she calls me, A-rat, hit his ex-wife. And I laugh. And I said to her, you better read what I said. I already said I hit my ex-wife. I never said I didn't. I said it, and I said you shouldn't. And I got involved in advocating against hitting any woman and violence. So I didn't say, oh, I didn't do it. I said I actually did. And then she started saying, well, he has a second family. Now, this is a girl whose own father called her a rat for calling the police. And he said, you're worse than Sammy Gravano. Okay. So he did that. And her ex-husband, he just passed away, and condolences for him. And I don't have no hate for some, especially passed away. I don't want to see that. But he had a second family outside of her. So you're cursing me out for the same thing your family has. You're making fun of me for the same exact thing. And then you called the police and your own father called you a rat. I really don't care who you called on your husband or not. But stop these childish games. When's it going to stop? You can't be happy to be doing this kind of stuff. So what's your end game for her too? You didn't have to break bread and sit down and talk gangster talk with your father. So your ex-husband had a second family, and I'm sorry you're miserable about it and you're angry. Don't blame you. I'm sorry I did the same thing. But we did it. I don't say I did it and they didn't do it. And I say, no, we all did it. We all lived a shitty life. But at least I'm eating it and I'm okay with it and honest with it. They're trying so hard not to be honest with, you can't change the words that came out of your father's mouth. He calls you a rat. People talking about being, gangsters and mobsters. No, Johnny's a gangster, and unfortunately, he's a junkie. And if anybody's stupid enough to straighten him out, that's on them. So, that goes back to, when I talk about, why the mobs change, because you don't have fear and you don't have structure. So how you going to have structure when you got this guy who's just like a crackhead on the street that you made him, and he's a loose cannon because he's doing crazy things. I says, and then you want to drag Kevin down with him because he's penniless. He screws up every dollar for Johnny when he's in jail. And this is the truth. And unfortunately, Johnny must not be too happy, obviously, where I stand today. But he knows what the truth is, at least. He knows what I'm saying. He might love his brother, but he's got to be shaking his head. If you're going to be honest, go, yeah, you're right. This is what it is. So, unfortunately, I would never think that we were all going to be in this position. We all thought we would die in jail or die in the street and stay loyal to each other. But that's a fantasy world, because that's not really the world of the treacherous mob. And the way I look at things now, I'm glad it happened this way, because I'm okay with my life. And Anybody else that's writing like that, I guess they're not okay with. I talk different now because I'm trying to talk to kids about, don't live that life. Have a different life. Enjoy your life. You spent a lot of time away. Other guys spent a lot of time. It's not really life, man. There's so many other ways to make a good living, and and I push that agenda on the young guys and people that want to hate on because I'm pushing and I'm telling kids to have a good life. Well, I'm sorry they feel like to me it's like just immature stuff the way they act, and do something positive. Stop.
Yeah.
None of us want to drag our kids in the street. So anybody that says anything different is lying. I got one son now in jail. So, somebody asked what he was in jail for, and, he was in jail for, the first time for a shooting. So, and unfortunately, that's some of the things that I got to take the blame for, because he's seen me doing things like that. No matter what I say, he followed it. And that's the last thing you want.
Came back to Jake like 3 months later and was like, here's your $7,000 plus $3,000 on top of that. I'm sorry I ran off on you. I had to do it. But I'm going to bring you into what I got going on. So this kid, crazy fucking kid, right? He started going back and forth to California, getting like 500, 600, 700 pounds of this light depth.
What's that? The hell's light?
Light depth is like they start the plane outdoors, but then they bring them indoors, which it causes them they can grow more of it at one time, right? To keep it simple. I'm not a grower. I'm friends with a lot of growers, but when you're indoor, you only have a certain amount of space. When you're outdoor, you can have tons and tons and acres, right? And if you set it up correctly enough, right, you can have certain plants cycling inside as they're going out and then more, right? So they kind of look like indoors, but they're outdoors kind of. It's like half and half. That's why they call them light depths, right? So he started bringing back a shit ton of those. So we leveled up from, 70, 80 pounds to now like 500, right? And then eventually he was bringing back 2,000, giving us like 800 pounds. Yeah.
800 pounds of weed?
700 pounds. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
And you were selling 700 pounds of weed?
So I became the oil guy pretty much. I was putting my guys on with like 20, 30 pounds here and there, 40 pounds here and there. But my main goal was to do what we were doing, right? That was the main profit. That was the free money. That was how we were getting rich. So eventually, he would give me like 200 pounds and I would run about 50 or 60 of them and make like 6 kilos like every 2 weeks, right? Which is, I don't know, you do the math, $35,000 times 6 kilos of pure profit.
70, 140, 280, 280. What is that then? I don't know.
Yeah. So it would take me like,
fuck.
it would take me like a month to sell all the shit.
Yeah.
And then him and I would split it in half.
So we're selling about 50 pounds a month?
Of weed?
Yeah.
Me, I was selling, I would say closer to about 100 pounds a month.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really care about the weed anymore. I knew that this
Well, I
was
mean,
the real money maker.
oil, weed, whatever.
Oil, I was selling about 15 kilos of oil about a month, I would say, conservatively. We were making about 3 to 5 kilos a week.
Now, why do you call it kilos and then pounds?
Well, the pounds, I'm talking about weed.
Okay.
Right? When you turn the pounds into oil, it's considered by the gram. You don't really, we didn't do it by, because I had so much, I guess you could fucking say I call it, 1,000. I felt like a big shot, I guess, now because I'm moving 1,000 grams. Here's a key. You want a key or a key? All the rappers and shit used to say it. So now I wanted to fucking say it because I had it.
Yo, what do you think he would get for 700 pounds of fucking weed? What if he went and picked up 700 pounds of weed? What do you think he'd
I'll
get?
tell you. I know the guidelines.
What,
I went fucking through
how much? How much?
Well, 3,000 pounds of weed, they were trying to put me at a level 30. Minus
That's not bad, really.
Category 1, I never had a conviction. Minus the 3 levels for acceptance, it was like 70 to 87 months or something like that.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not a bad hit.
Yeah.
700, though. That might be a little bit more than that.
700 pounds of the weed. I'm talking about the weed now.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So we'll go into my indictment at the end.
Yeah.
But so the oil was my game.
Okay.
Right? I told Jake, focus on the oil. Who really cares about the weed? Like, give me as much weed as you can. And we will then, run it all, mix it back in with what you have. So we would take like 50 out of the 200 and then put them in. And he'd give me another, 50 to mix in with the next 200. And he would get about between 500 to 700 pounds out of the 2,000 that was coming in.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now, did you have, when you were making all this money, did you have family obligations? Like, were you taking care of your family, your mom, your dad, I don't know, brothers, sisters. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So we kind of jumped a little forward, but when I was 20 and actually started, the weed and the oil and took it seriously, my dad lost his job at about 19 and foreclosed on our home.
Oh.
So it came from me just selling weed, to smoke a little bit to now this is like what I'm going to do. Right. And it took me a while to be able to take care of anybody because, the little bits of profit and stuff that we were making were just, so I could help my mom a little bit. My dad kind of moved on from my mom and, lived a different life and still was, old school man taking care of my mom as much as he could, but he didn't have a job. So, I took it a little more serious because they're both asking me for money and trying to, get things back
Do they know what
together.
you're doing?
So they didn't, but they're like,
Something ain't right.
something ain't right,
But they needed the fucking money,
but we
right?
need the shit,
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I really don't. I would do the same thing, So, that's how it got a little more serious for me mentally. That's what turned me into okay, I'm just gonna take this whole thing over by any means necessary. That's what it really was. And the niche that I created with this kid just helped me level up, making 30, 40 grand a week in my pocket,
Now, what do you think separated you from everybody else?
Well, for one, the niche. I don't think anybody really was, and the connect. I mean, considering that Jake got more weed than anybody I've ever seen, and he trusted me with more than anybody I've ever seen. Right? I mean, my tabs with him at one point in time were like $600,000. What I owed him, and a lot of it was profit, but a lot of it was for weed on the street for my guys. So, we ran a $1 million operation at a young age, and nobody really knew what to do with the money and shit. The Russian kid was definitely smarter than us. He was older. Jake was smarter than me. He was older and a little more disciplined. I was just a nut job, pretty much. Like, that was me.
Right.
I feel like I came up with the plan. I'm the reason that we're getting rich, and like we're just gonna keep getting rich. And we went from making like $400 off a pound to making $2,500 off a pound. That's game changing money, especially when you're getting hundreds of them. So
And you're in your early 20s at the time, too. So, I mean,
21,
yeah.
21, and this lasted until I was 23. Consistently, yeah.
So then take me from there to the time that everything went bad.
Well, that's like, it got crazy with the money. So just like, and it's not really a lot of money, but to a 21-year-old kid, it was a good chunk of change, right? For 30 grand a week, conservatively saying. I would just go to Miami. Jupiter's a very small town and I wanted to break free, right? I didn't travel much. Like my dad and my mom would take me on soccer tournaments. I played pretty high level of soccer my whole life. I set a lot of records at my high school. I continued to try and play travel soccer. I played Olympic development program, and then I eventually tried to try out for the U20 men's national team. I got cut. I got cut in the second round. I had 103 fever, and I just couldn't perform. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. I literally tell my girlfriend all the time right now, like, that would have changed my life making that team.
If we didn't have bad luck, we'd have no luck.
It's true, bro. So it's like, that would have changed my life, definitely. And then I went on to play college soccer, and yeah, I don't know. It changed. Everything changed from them. I dropped out of college and took this shit super seriously.
But I mean,
So, okay,
Yeah.
to answer your question, when did it get super serious, you said, as far
yeah,
as...
super serious, and then you get popped.
Yeah, so when I dropped out of college, I knew I didn't need my teacher anymore to teach me how to make money. And we're stuck in this town, Jupiter. I'm like, I need to explore, get the fuck out of here. Like, everything I've ever done is here. Jupiter, Jupiter, Jupiter. So, I actually called this guy one day. I was looking on Craigslist. I didn't even have a fucking debit card or a bank account at the time, just stacks of cash. And I saw this guy on Craigslist. He's like, cash, accepted for limousines. So I called all my buddies, all my girlfriends, whatever, and we were like, hey, I'm getting this fucking limo. We're going down to Miami to go, whatever, eat dinner and do this shit. So I got this limo. I met this guy named Gino, and he lived literally right down the street, which was crazy. It said Miami Rentals, but he's like, I live in Jupiter. I'm like, oh, fuck, I live in Jupiter. He's like, yeah, the limo's down there, but it's coming back to my house. And literally, I remember, I was like, damn, I used to see this guy's limo fucking parked down the street all the time. So I got cool with him, and he'd have a driver take us down there. We'd go to the Miami Meat Market, and we'd go to Club Live and whatever, and we'd go crazy down there. So one day we took the limo maybe about 2 or 3 times, and then one day this dude Gino, man, he was a fucking crazy Italian nut too, but he introduced me to another even crazier Italian Russian guy. He's like, hey, my partner's getting out of jail, and he wants to meet you. So I was like, okay. So we go down there, and I pull up down there in Miami, and he pulls up to the hotel we were staying at. We were staying at the W at the time, South Beach. And he pulls up, and he's like, hey, you're Vinny? I heard a lot about you, man, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for keeping my business afloat. This guy just got out of jail, I guess, right? So he's like, thanks for keeping my business afloat, man. You and you're welcome whenever to take any of the limos. But if you want to drive some heavy shit, I got heavy shit. And I was like, well, I don't even know what this guy fucking means by that. What does that mean? And he's like, I got Lamborghinis, Bentleys, Ferraris, Porsches. I'm 21. I'm obsessed with cars. I was like, all right, yeah, fucking, you show me where they're at. So he's like, okay, fucking, I'll come pick you up tomorrow. So when we all checked out of the hotel, they took the limousine. I went with him to the warehouse to check it out, and I had a bunch of cash on me, and obviously I took a fucking Lambo right from the warehouse at that point, right then. So, yeah, that's how it started.
Was that the beginning of the end?
That was the beginning of the end, meeting that fucking guy.
And why is that?
Yeah, well, he turned out to be a confidential informant for the feds, man.
So the guy living down the street from you with the limo company.
Not him, his partner he introduced me to.
Did the guy that was
They were
driving the
partners in this exotic car rental thing. This guy was a New York bred, Miami bred, wild nutcase.
Did he know that the other guy was a CI?
I don't know, bro. I have no idea if he knew that or not. I always wanted to call him and ask him, like, when I got home, like, did you know he was a fucking psycho confidential informant, bro? But nah, I stopped dealing with Gino because obviously I knew this guy was in charge of everything. Gino was just running shit for him while he was gone.
And this was the Russian guy that had just gotten out of jail.
Well, he was a Russian-Italian guy.
Russian-Italian guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He later introduced me to an even crazier Russian guy.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now take me from there how this ends. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making
I'll
sure.
fucking hurt you, Raiden. One day we'll play.
Yeah.
Well, I'll order a cheap one off eBay. We'll play. You can come over to my house.
I'll tell you what. We're going to do this for the fans.
Skinny Vinny on the beat.
Skinny Vinny. Vinny Diesel.
Let's go.
Guns. Tommy Guns producer. About to show him what the fuck I got. Hey. If I want it, I cop it, don't blink and I either. Boss of my city, got John Gotti fever. Take it to the tropics, I could take it to Geneva. Put you in that Maserati, take you out the Kia. Seats all red in Ferrari, so they blushing. You can take a look, girl, please don't get the touching. Homeboys with me, Italian and Russian. Used to run them packs up the east coast of Flushing. Say, Vinny, you wildin'? You feel kinda Hawaiian? Cause I be on the beach writing this rap, not even trying. I be on another level. Medusa, head on me, got it? Helicopter on the roof waiting for the pickup. Couple guns in my coupe in case you try to stick up. Same friends for 20 years, proof that I don't switch up. Me and you will play live.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
If you win.
All right.
Actually, I don't know. You come up with the terms because I'm going to fuck you up anyway.
All right. We'll think about it. We'll
play it live next time.
All right. We'll play it live right on that bitch.
Good.
All right.